Okay, thank you so much. Um, so, as you said, we have seen a lot of changes, a lot of growth in the field of electronics over the last decades. And recently, like I believe it has been a few years, that the Moore's law has been put into question since we are approaching 7 nanometers or 5 nanometer uh, transistors, and it is coming into the territory where the laws are no longer governed by classical laws, but instead they are governed by quantum laws. So, like uh, there are a few more challenges. This is just an example of that. So, taking into consideration of all of these, how do you see the industry evolving in the next few decades?
Okay. So what we see with shrinking transistors is that there's something called leakage power. Um, so, so let us say somebody takes food in the morning and start walking, running, doing some lot of work, manual work. Apparently, he or she becomes hungry by noon, and they go for a lunch. Suppose somebody takes a heavy breakfast in the morning and does not do anything, still they will become hungry by 7 o'clock in the evening. Just because of your existence, the body actually dissipates some energy and makes you feel hungry. So, so like that, even transistors, there are two types of power dissipation that happen in transistors. One power dissipation is dynamic power dissipation. So when a transistor switches on or off, there is some power that it consumes. Mm, then, if the next step is that there's something called leakage power, irrespective of whether the transistor is switching on or off, meaning there will be some power just because of the existence of the transistor, there will be some power it consumes, and that's called leakage power. And today, leakage power has become quite significant as we scale down the technology, like 5 nanometer, 3 nanometer, etc. And that essentially means, that essentially means that we are basically having issues with Moore's law, because now the chip becomes so much power consuming that if you keep increasing without any control on it, the total power dissipation will be so high that the chip can burn, potentially can burn. So this is where Moore's law has taken a hit, and that's why you don't see a lot of scaling beyond some point, right? So this is one part. But today, when we look at the market, lot of chips are today manufactured using 180 nanometer. Okay, it's all far off, right? Your cell phone charging chip, your EV vehicle chip, your that itself will be a big market. Your fast charger chips for your electric vehicles. So these are some very quick examples I can use. So there are n examples like that, and these all use what we call as what we had used, say, 10 to 12 years before, which is basically the 180 nanometer. So today the market will be, irrespective of what level of design that we are going to do. So we will be having it in that we'll be having the that particular what do you call that nanometer, and those designs are still going to be relevant. So the industry per se, unless for very niche projects or products which are requiring these 6 nanometer or 8 nanometer, many of the products can be still done using 180. 28 nanometer is a very sweet spot. 28 nanometer, 40 nanometer, etc. So industry will grow and industry needs will grow even in these very high technologies.
What advice would you give the aspiring electronic enthusiasts who are just starting their journey about the key skills or mindsets that they should cultivate?
See, electronics is a very interesting field. I work in the area of semiconductor electronics. Our group has designed the Shakti microprocessor for the country. So electronics is a very, very interesting field. And even if you have machine learning and AI, for those algorithms to execute, you basically need a computer, and that computer essentially has a chip. So, uh, so, so electronics is completely, crucial because today we are going to see variety of electronics. We are not just going to see one piece of electronics which we use it for all our solving all our problems. We are going to see domain specific electronics, means for every part of the every part, we are now basically touching those parts, and basically we are looking at that field of electronics. So that is very, very important today, and that makes the training much more relevant, because we are looking at different fields. It's not electronics just for electronics, but electronics for agriculture, electronics for telecommunication, electronics for study, electronics for health. So we are looking at different segments, and that can basically, help the growth of electronics here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. You just mentioned about the Shakti processors. So we are all very curious about how it came to be, sir, and like how was your experience being the lead of the research team, sir?
Yeah. So for India, we actually needed to make a microprocessor, because everything, any imported processor will have certain security issues, and also that we are importing a lot of process. And the processor is a microprocessor, is the brain of any system, right? So we like to have what you call as stubborn self-sufficiency in this. What our Honorable Prime Minister says, Atmanirbharta, right? So that is very, very important. So we started off on that journey around 2013 when we started with IBM Power, as because they were ready to release it open source, and we thought we will start with that. But very quickly we realized that there's a lot of legacy that we need to cover, and so we started along with MIT and Berkeley, we started this RISC-V program. This is Reduced Instruction Set Computer 5V program, RISC-V program, and this is an open source instruction set architecture given free of cost to anyone who wants to use it under BSD license. Essentially means if we change something that need not necessarily be conveyed back, right? So BSD license is something like you can use it for free. In the GNU license is something like you can use it for free, but the moment you go and change something, you have to change the entire system. That is the thing. Now we have basically in this case we have this BSD license. BSD license essentially means you can use it, and if you change anything, you need not contribute back, or you need not tell them what is it. So now this BSD license is basically used for the Shakti instruction set architecture, and we started developing a family of microprocessors. So we started with what we call as the E class, the embedded class. Then we had the control class. Then we have the I class, which is basically out of order execution processor. So essentially a family of microprocessors has been developed. And what we have done is that we tried to make it as maximally indigenous as possible. So we coded it in lab. We did the design in lab, and then we just fabricated it in Chandigarh at 180 nanometer, brought it back, assembled in our lab, and then it was basically put to use. So all these stages were basically done in India in three occasions of the Shakti chip. So what we are proud of is India today has a microprocessor which is a family of microprocessors which can deliver the necessary functionality to any design architect of the country.
How do you see AI and machine learning transforming various fields of electronics engineering in the coming years? And how important is it for the students today to have some knowledge of AI and machine learning for their research?
So, see, AI and machine learning are very, very important today. For example, if you use this phone here, so you have face recognition, your fingerprint recognition, which allow you to get access to the phone. So, fingerprint, these are all basically face recognition, fingerprint recognition, also derive its inspiration from artificial intelligence, right? So every edge device is supposedly going to become intelligent, and how it can become intelligent, we need to run multiple software so that the lot of functionalities, intelligent functionalities, can be realized. So in that way, intelligence is going to be built. Intelligence will be in software. Then slowly, intelligence will become a co-processor. It will be a Unix-driven co-processor. So there is lot more of hardware to basically execute AI algorithms on the edge. So this is extremely important, and that is where things are going up. So there is lot of scope as you proceed. There is lot more of scope for AI and edge intelligence. We call it edge intelligence. As you see, face recognition is an example of edge intelligence. The fingerprint is also an example of edge intelligence, and there are a lot more intelligent things that you can achieve on the edge, means the last mile user, right? And that's very important. And this is a sort of my response to your query on how AI and related hardware are driving the next generation design. On the other hand, even to design a circuit, like so, I told you several stages, right? When the circuit is described using hardware description language, then there is a stage where hardware description language is converted to into gates, and from gates to, and so on. So we have these what you call as multiple stages, and each of these stages has a computationally complex problem called NP-complete problems. NP-complete problems are those for which there is no known solution in a classical computing methodology, and so the entire game of this design, the VLSI, the very large scale integration design today is powered by AI, right? So because AI now plays a role in getting optimal solutions, some of the tools that are part of this, if you use a classical technique, it will take days to converge. Now with AI intervention, we can converge these in very quickly, and that is something as a contribution of AI to the design of the chip. So there is a AI for hardware, there's an hardware for AI. This is my answer.
So what advice would you give for students who are working at the intersection of electronics and other disciplines, such as healthcare or similar or other?
These are the people who are extremely important, because people who work on the border, because today for me to conceive a system, I need to have domain expertise. Now, suppose I want to make a health-based device. I go to a doctor. Doctor doesn't understand anything about electronics. And if I take an electronics engineer, he doesn't understand the vocabulary of the doctor. So this is where the real problem is. And, there must be a cross interaction between these two groups to actually make certain very, interesting designs. So this is something that we need to really work on, right?
Yes, sir. So what advice would you give to the students who are looking to become interdisciplinary experts?
Correct. So the point is that you specialize on a subject. For example, today you take BS Electronic Systems, but if somebody is doing civil engineering, that's a very good combination. For example, because today there's building automation, and then there's a lot of interdisciplinary work that will happen there. So one has to understand civil engineering and embedded systems to actually make those systems. So you can become those type of experts if you know the domain knowledge where you are working in civil engineering and you take electronic systems and you understand the fundamental of electronic systems. You become a terrific civil engineer because you can actually now make intelligent homes. You can make intelligent offices. So, so this is all. So the people working on the border must take a very quick course and ramp up and continue on the other area, right? So this is very, very important. So you understand a bit of electronics. There will be a lot more people who can do this, but understand the domain much more sincerely so that when you propose a solution, we know that the solution will work, etc.
Any skill other than academic skills or knowledge? So this includes like communication or networking and stuff like that. So what skills do you feel are the most important that lead to success in any individual?
I strongly believe analytical and logical reasoning skill is something very important because when you are given a problem, it is very, very important for us to understand what it is, how it is, logically find out what are the ways of solving it and what are the solutions, what would be the cost. So many logical reasoning and logical stuff is very much necessary for us to progress on this. So this is very, very important. Okay, so that's one part of the story. So on the soft skill side, we need logical reasoning, logical thinking, logical analytical reasoning, and some amount of cost factor analysis. Because ultimately, when we make a chip, it should sell and it should be affordable. Suppose they make a fantastic processor, but say it's $1 billion a piece, nobody's going to buy it, right? So these are some very interesting, very important aspect. So that acumen to actually design, you need not actually do business. You need not actually basically even do a startup here. But when you even try to do a project, when you try to answer questions, even in simple periodicals or in your quiz or in your examination, it's very, very important that you have this in mind that you need to design chips systems that are affordable and effective. So these are two orthogonal things. If I want to make it a thing that is affordable, it may not be that effective. If one makes something very effective, it may not be that affordable. But we need to look at and strike that balance. So this is irrespective. This is not just electronics. In anything, any solution, write a program. You need to write a program that occupies less memory, that takes very less time, but gives you very excellent answers. So everywhere, this is what we need to do. And the next thing that we also need to keep in mind very strongly, very clearly is that the communication skills has to be extremely important because you need to project your ideas. You need to basically communicate your ideas, and not just in the case of an interview or pitching to your client, or even for you to describe an idea in the part of your chip design itself, for us to basically translate what is there in the brain into what we call as hardware description language. Even that, the communication skill is very, very important. There's a theory by Professor Saber. He says that if you do not know the language in which you can think, you cannot even think, right? So that is something very, very important. So this clarity of thought in terms of what you want and analytical, logical reasoning, thinking, these are some things which are fundamental. And if that is there, I'm sure you can make a great future, not just engineering, but whichever field you are, you will certainly succeed.
How do you balance your time between teaching, research, and your personal life, sir? And how do you still find time to indulge in your hobbies?
Yeah, so actually, if you have noticed, my previous day started at 2:30 a.m. yesterday, and still I am not. So I'm also feeling very tired now. So actually, some questions I was actually, literally feeling very tired. But that's life, right? So there is a lot of work as you grow into more and more responsibilities. It's very, very important that you you have to spend a lot of time giving. And at the same time, it's also very important. If you just look at why this program is important, because as a country, we are now embarking into semiconductor electronics in a big way. And unless we find more and more people who will be interested in this and take it up, as a country, we may lose a lot of things if we don't have correct manpower. And that's why we launched this BSc Electronic Systems, and we are taking that forward in a big way, right? So that's why we are spending this time. So it is always that one thing is we need to prioritize. So of course, so you also need God's blessings for this. So in this case, when we look at this, for me, if you look at my priority, first institute first, then student next, then it becomes then it comes to family. Hobby takes a very bad hit. Do I claim to play violin? I hardly find time to practice that. So priority wise, when you take up a responsibility, I think that should be highest in this, and that's the way we do. And this essentially means that you lose always. Best is the enemy of good. If you really want to give the best to something, you lose a lot of other good things. I don't say lose, but we will miss a lot of other good things. For example, today a beautiful Speak McKay event is happening, and one of my very favorite violinists, Kanyakumari ji, is playing. But I had so many meetings today, I can't even go and listen a single song. And just when I was walking out of the office, in the display, I just saw a fantastic Sri Ranjani Rag being played. So I just listened. I really missed it, but I couldn't because today there were so many meetings and I had to take care of it. So friends, so what I would like to say is student communities, at different points of time, you might need to give priority. For example, that's what I've been telling the plus 2 kids. IPL is not a priority now. So don't watch that game now, because you need to write your JEE, advanced and other things, right? So what is very important so this prioritization, you ask why, like soft skill, what are the other things? Prioritization also is very, very important. And that's not easy, right? So you may not be in a position to keep up your time because your priority is high. So some institute matter comes, we spend a lot of time on that. We budget, say, half an hour, it takes 45 minutes, 1 hour. So meetings get delayed and so many things can happen. So, but these are some of the things that you need to balance. I'm balancing it. I don't even say that I'm balancing it, but I'm just basically saying that I'm prioritizing it.